European truckers, you're being played. Governments work together, particularly in the case of a UN agenda. Just as plebs are used for cannon fodder in wars with the ruling classes strategizing from behind the lines, the plebs, and we're all plebs to these people, so I include myself in that description, are being used to support the present war, the war against you and I, on behalf of what is ostensibly Mother Earth, but is, in fact, an immense deception being played on us by the ruling class who want a complete change in how their world functions. And these are their tactics. Our fear is being used against us. The UK government, in this instance, and the French government are not, I repeat, are not at loggerheads at all. That is for your consumption, the plebeian consumption.
Driving home for Christmas.
The UK and French government are playing ball with each other to create conditions for an EU-UN agenda for sustainability development goals. You must understand something. When the government wants change, they introduce issues which can be promoted as concerns or threats or disasters. They can and do this from the smallest of changes they wish for to the largest. Let me give you two examples. 1. There is an ex-pop star called Brian Harvey from East 17. Bear with me on this.
I've done pills myself. I've done 12 one night, you know what I mean? Loads of them. I've been off it on them, do you know what I mean? And the thing is if you bang one, you go out, you have a good night. And that's what people want to do. If it brings out the better in someone, and really in the long run, it's a safe pill and it ain't doing you no harm, I don't see the problem.
His career was demolished by politicians in the UK government by way of having him set up a day before a parliamentary vote regarding the drug ecstasy. He was interviewed regarding ecstasy use, and his comments, the questions were well chosen, were then broadcast to the nation.
It's not that kind of vibe. But I'm not promoting it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not promoting it. Don't do it. All I'm saying is, any fans of ours, do not follow. I do not do it anymore. No one in the group does it. There's no point in it. It makes you feel jank the next day. It's complete rubbish. And just, don't do it. It got blown completely out of proportion.
And John Major, the very next day in Parliament as PM at the time, used Harvey's comments to create enough support to push through a parliamentary bill re ecstasy use.
Well, Madam Speaker, I hadn't seen the comments about ecstasy, but I would certainly regard any comments of that sort as wholly wrong. Drug taking, whatever drug it may be, tends to lead on to hard drugs, and we've seen often enough the tragedy that occurs.
However, the background to this, which nobody knew at the time, was that two parliamentarians in particular were supportive of the beer and alcohol industry, and that industry was suffering with low sales due to the ecstasy use. The government spun the story to suggest they were concerned for youth's health. You've heard that one before, and even now, haven't you? But it was all driven by the alcohol and beer lobby. 2. The new variant of COVID found in mink farms in Denmark a few weeks ago. See my previous video detailing this. The Climate Change Sustainability Club have wanted to destroy mink farming for years. So they introduced the fear and threat of a COVID variant jumping between humans, mink and back to achieve it. Now we have road haulage and the freight sector, What's the game here? Well, it's COVID creating the wished for conditions, i.e., chaos, to change the game enormously in the freight transportation sector, once more to flatten the curve. That's the carbon emissions curve.
Poor guys. Getting absolutely screwed by a total con. Unbelievable. You're getting screwed, guys, by a total con. And you're taking tests for nothing. For total control. For political issues that you and I don't know about. But based on a complete and utter bullshit story about a virus. Yeah, some of you probably need to drive about 2,000 miles to get home, and it's Christmas Eve. Yeah, good luck to you, mate. But you're getting screwed. Poor bastards. And if I told you this was all Prince Charles's fault and the World Economic Forum and the United Nations and Boris Johnson's father and Boris Johnson himself, and a whole bunch of other complete and utter pricks, you'd never believe me. And that's the problem. You don't believe it. You refuse to entertain the idea. And honestly, it makes people like me wonder, do you deserve any compassion? But you do. You certainly do. You know? Ignorance is bliss, but are you calling this bliss? Are you calling this bliss? Because I wouldn't be. And the police that stand there managing it all. Managing it for their managers. For their directorship. Either ignorant bastards or just in it so that they can buy their burger.
In October this year, the European Intermodal Summit took place. What's the Intermodal Summit? Well, it's all about creating a system infrastructure for freight transport by various modes to cut down carbon emissions. A main theme of the summit is in the use of rail and waterborne transportation of freight rather than road, because road freight is an enormous carbon polluter. They appear to understand that it's far more difficult to reduce road freight in the last mile of distribution, i.e., between local distribution centre and the customer, and within towns and cities. But for the long haul, and that is what you road haulage people are, they're going to significantly reduce the number of you needed. The idea of introducing COVID into the present frame is so they can use this travesty that we're now experiencing, or you're now experiencing, as the excuse they need to promote the intermodal transport change and get your buy-in for it. Trust me, you will see the intermodal promotion now on your screens and in newspapers all over Europe. It will become their next huge talking point. Yet it's been in the plan for years. We must mitigate against such eventualities by adopting a cleaner, more efficient way of transporting goods and food, etc. However, don't worry, we have a plan. These problems are created by these people for creating the change they want. These examples I've given you are perfect examples of what someone you're all too quick to mock, called David Icke, has spoken of time and again. You don't listen, however, because you've been trained to deride and dismiss the conspiracy theorists of this world. If you continue to do so, your fate is set. I wonder though, how can you ignore when it's now so in your face? So take your COVID tests and be tested positive or negative, and eventually drive home either for Christmas or Easter. But it is your and the majority's ignorance which is allowing all of this to happen, I'm afraid.
I'm driving home for Christmas. Oh, I can't wait to see those faces. I'm driving home for Christmas.